Hello and welcome to day 4 of your beginner's yoga journey. I am so excited because we are halfway through our journey today. So we are going to slow down our roll and do a lovely gentle yoga. Gentle, slower yogas are some of my favorites. It really helps me tune inwards and see and notice what my body is feeling and trying to tell me. So I'm excited to take you through this today. As always, I do recommend having a block handy because, you might utilize it, you might not, but it's good to have it handy. If you don't have a block, then a couple of books will do the job as well. Today we're actually going to start seated on our knees. So we're going to sit our hips back on our heels, or you can take the block in between the feet and just place the hips on the heels there. Bringing the knees in towards one another, lengthening up tall through the spine. And we're going to take our hands and we're just going to place them on our legs. Now, if sitting on your knees is not accessible to you today, then feel free to take an easy cross-legged pose, whatever feels good for you. But if you can, sitting on your heels, lengthening up through the spine, crown of the head towards the roof, and your hands are just going to rest gently on your legs, palms faced down for grounding. And just begin to tune into the body and into the breath. And as you do so, you might find your eyes gently close down, or if you don't feel like closing your eyes today, if that feels like a little bit much, you might just fix your gaze down at the floor in front of you. Just allowing yourself a moment to really land in on your mat today. Now, depending at what time of the day you're coming to this, you might feel a little different. Maybe you're coming to this first thing in the morning and you're a little bit tired. And this is the way you're waking up today. Or maybe you've just finished a long day and this is your time to just rejuvenate, regenerate, slow down from the day that you've had. Wherever you are within your day, just noticing how you're feeling, what's been going on for you, and how does your body feel at this moment of time in your day. And then taking your attention to the breath and just noticing how it feels to be breathing today in your body. Allowing the breath to flow in and out and just simply observing it, watching it. Now we're going to begin to come to our ujjayi breath today. So as if you're blowing air on a pane of glass, on your exhales, we're going to breathe out to make a sound like so just taking an inhale, and then as you breathe out, as if you're blowing air on a pane of glass, now we're going to continue to keep that exhale vocal, but we're actually going to close our mouths this time. So still, as if you're blowing air on that pane of glass and like you have a constriction in the back of your throat. So we're going to inhale and exhale. So your exhale is still audible. It's not quite as loud as it was with the mouth open, but just keeping that sound going. Now this audible breath is called ujjayi breath. and it warms us from the inside out. And it's the perfect breath to use in our yoga poses. So we're going to come back to this breath throughout our practice today. And then from here, opening your eyes and finding yourself back into your space. And we're just going to begin by lifting our hips up off the block, moving it out of the way, and tucking the toes under on the mat. So you might take your hands and you might just help your toes to tuck under. So we're going to tuck all the toes under, and we're going to begin to sit back on the heels. If this feels like a lot for you, because this can be a very, what is the word for it? A very strong pose. If it feels very strong for you, you can keep your hands on the floor, or you can take the block in front of you, placing your hands on the block. Or if you feel like you can go a little further today, you can sink back on those toes, on the heels, hands placed on the thighs, lengthening up through the spine and just breathing here. Coming back to that ujjayi breath. Allowing the breath to ground you into this pose. And allowing that breath to be the tool and the anchor point that helps you hold in the pose. Three more rounds of breath here, a round being both the inhale and the exhale. And then beginning to walk the hands forward, coming off the heels, untucking the toes, and simply just pitter-pattering the feet. Then finding yourself in the tabletop position, so hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. You can take a look, set yourself up here, and then we're going to simply come through some cat-cows. So on the inhale, dropping the belly, lifting the hips, lifting the chest, looking forward. And as you exhale, round through the spine, head towards the floor. Inhale, coming forward and through the gates of the arms, opening up, shining that chest forward. And exhale, create a rainbow with the back. Inhale, coming forward and through. And exhale, rounding it away. Move with your breath here. So you might find that you want to go a little faster or a little slower. Know that that's okay, and make your yoga practice work for you. And then coming back to your tabletop position, sinking the hips back to the heels and walking the hands forward, bringing the forehead to the mat in child's pose. Coming back to that ujjayi breath. Lifting the hips, coming back through your tabletop. So again, check your hands are under your shoulders, knees under hips. And we're going to tuck the toes of the right foot and send that leg back. As you inhale, lift that leg up in line with the hip. Holding here. And then taking the left arm out and lifting it up in line with the shoulder. On your next exhale, elbow and knee come to meet. Inhale, take it long. Exhale, knee meets elbow. Inhale and reach. Exhale, knee meets elbow. Then taking it long and holding here. Then placing the left hand on the mat. Taking the right toes to the mat and turning towards on the long side of the foot. Grounding down into the foot and opening up to the right side. Now that left leg might kickstand back here to give you a little bit extra support. But breathing here. Opening up through the chest. And then reaching that right arm overhead. So you should feel a long stretch right from those toes of that right foot out the right fingertips. Now we want to lift up and out of that left shoulder. We're not sinking down into that arm. We're lifting up, out and away. Lengthening through that right side body. Then circling the right hand to the mat, bringing that left leg back, lifting that right leg up in line with the hips again, and then curling through the spine, bringing the knee in towards the nose before stepping that right foot forward between the hands. Now you might want to walk that back knee back a little bit here, but we want our right knee over our right ankle. Now taking a breath here, then lifting up onto the fingertips so you can open that chest forward towards the front of the mat. Breathe in here. Coming back to that Ujjayi breath. Allowing those exhales to be audible. Then sending the hips back towards the heels and lifting that front toes on the right foot for half splits. You might lengthen up through the spine, coming on the fingertips, and then exhale, fold over the leg. Now you don't have to come far here, just as far as you want to go to feel that in the back of the leg. Personally, I find this pose really strong on my legs, so I don't actually go that deep because I don't need to. Then coming back forward onto that right foot, grounding down into the left hand and reaching that right arm up to the side. Sending the right hand back towards that left foot. Now if this feels like enough for you, then stay here. If you want to take this a little further today, you might begin to bend into that left leg, bringing the left toes towards the sky. Now you can stay here with this extension, or you can bring that foot in a little closer, wrapping that hand, the right hand around the left foot. But taking this to wherever feels good for you here. Our bodies are all different, and it's up to you to listen to yours and go where your body wants to go. Now if you're feeling this in the knee at all, then let the foot go and just come back to where we began. Now everybody, if you have the foot, releasing the foot, allowing it to drop down to the mat and circling that right hand down. Sinking those hips back so you can step the right foot back to meet the left and coming back into your tabletop. So adjusting that position so your hands are under your shoulders, knees are under your hips. Taking a breath here before tucking those toes on that left foot, sending that left leg back. On an inhale, lifting the left leg in line with the hip. Breathing here. And then taking the right hand out and lifting up in line with the shoulder. On your next exhale, bring the elbow and the knee to meet. Inhale, reach it long. Exhale, knee meets elbow. Then taking it long, holding it for a breath before lowering that right hand and lowering the left foot to the mat. You might kickstand that right leg and open up to the left side. Lifting up, out and out, away from that right shoulder. And then taking that left arm overhead so you feel a nice long stretch up the left side of the body from the fingertips to the toes. Then circling that left hand down, bringing that right leg back in line. Lifting that left leg up from the hip and then stepping that left foot forward between the hands. And again, here might be good for you. You might take that right knee back slightly. Left knee over the left ankle. Breathing here. And then lifting up onto the fingertips to open through the chest. Coming back to that ujjayi breath. Then sending those hips back over the knees to lift the left toes of the foot. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, fold over the leg. You may have a slight bend in that left leg, and that's okay. I definitely do. But it's just allowing yourself to feel it up the back of that left leg. And then walking it back forward, grounding down into the right hand and opening up to the left side. Now, option to stay here if here feels like enough for you. Otherwise, sending that left hand back towards the right foot. Option to go deeper still by bending that right knee and sending the right toes up towards the ceiling. Final option, taking the hand and wrapping it around the foot. Opening up. Again, knowing that our bodies are all different, so coming to the space that feels good for you and yours today in this moment. And also just acknowledging that some days are different to others. Well, some days you might want to go to the full extension of a pose, others you might not. So just listening to that, listening to your body on any given day. Releasing the foot, circling that left hand down and stepping back. Walking the knees as wide as the mat, toes together, and sink the hips back into your child's pose. Come back to that ujjayi breath. Walking the hands back towards the knees so you can come to sit. Bringing the knees together and just dropping the hips to one side and extending the legs long in Dandasana. So sitting up tall through the spine here. If you find that you're rounding through the spine, you might take your mat, just fold it and place it underneath the hips, or you could take a blanket or the block underneath your hips. But we really want to find length through the spine here. So grounding down, hands come down beside you and lengthening up out and away from the mat. Breathing here. Now this is not an easy pose to hold, so just breathing, tuning back into that ujjayi breath as we sit here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bringing that right knee into the chest, grounding down into that right foot. And we're going to take our left arm, wrap it around that right knee, right hand behind you, coming into a twist. So in our twist, every time you inhale, see if you can find a little more length. And every time you exhale, allow the exhale to bring you into the twist a little more. And that breath is really our guide in yoga. So always coming back to it and allowing it to help you move into the poses. Coming back through center in an inhale, dropping that right knee open and bringing the right sole of the foot to the inner left leg. Lengthening up tall, reaching those arms overhead, and exhale, folding forward over the left leg. Now see if you can let go and relax it all through that left leg. Where are you holding tension and where can you let it go? Oops, my belly is rumbling. I don't know if you heard that, but it was a pretty big rumble. And then sitting up tall and extending that right leg out. Left knee bends, sole of the foot to the mat. Taking that right arm, wrapping it around the left leg, left hand behind you, coming into your twist. Breathing here. Now often as we slow down, our bodies start really beginning to digest and talk to us. So you may be hearing mine, it's going off, but I'm slowing down and it's allowing my body this space and time that it needs to begin to digest. And it's not just food we're digesting, but also the things that happen to us in our daily lives. The things that we go through. Coming back through center in an inhale, dropping that knee open, left sole of the foot towards the inner right thigh, reaching up tall, and then exhale, folding over. Coming to wherever feels good for you here. And then again, just see if you can release any tension. Can you let go through that right leg at all? And then coming back up to sit on an inhale and bringing the soles of the feet together. Coming into butterfly position. So again, lengthening up tall through the spine. If it's hard, then take something underneath you. You can even take your block and place that underneath you, but sitting up tall, allowing the knees to be dropped open, hands come towards the ankles, and we're just going to simply flap our butterfly wings here. Getting some movement into the legs and opening up through the hips. Now just noting that wherever your knees are, then that is totally okay. Our bodies are all different, like I've said a couple of times. So some people may have their knees up here because you might be a bit tighter, that's okay. Just going wherever feels good for you within this pose. And when I say feel good, I mean there may be times where you actually do feel a bit of a stretch and it may be a little bit tough, but there's a difference between it feeling good stretching and it feeling bad pain. If you are feeling pain, then it is a sign that you need to move out of it. If the pain is short and sharp, then it's a position you need to adjust. But if it's a stretching, a bit of an aching, then that's okay. Now allow those legs to come to stillness. Find length. And then folding forward with a long spine. So we're not necessarily trying to come over and round through our back, but we're lengthening through the spine and folding forward. Those elbows can come in towards the inner knees. And breathe in here. Coming up to sit on an inhale, taking the hands to the outer knees and bringing the knees together. Take the hands behind you and just place them on the ground so that you can drop your knees from side to side, windshield wiping the legs. Good, and then we're going to come onto our backs. So placing the feet on the mat, bringing the arms out in front of you and rolling down the spine, vertebrae by vertebrae, till you come to rest on your back. I'm just going to move my hairpiece because it's going to be a pain. So grounding down into the feet here, and we're going to take our hands alongside our bodies, grounding the hands down into the mat. And as we inhale, begin to lift up through the hips. And as you exhale, lower down. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lower down. On your next inhale, we're going to lift and hold it here. So keeping those hips lifted. Breathing into that front body. So chin away from the chest, and then the chest moves towards the chin. And our eyes are gazing up towards the sky. You can come back to that Ujjayi breath. And then lowering down to the mat. Bringing that right knee into the chest and just taking some little circles with that right foot, one way and then the other. And then taking the right ankle just past that left knee, allowing the right knee to drop open to the side, and then bringing that left knee in towards you. So you might be here, you might walk it in a little further. Your hands come in behind the back of that left thigh, breathing into that right hip and right thigh. From here, we're just going to release the hands, taking the hands out to a T, and we're just going to simply drop that right foot, left knee to the mat. Taking that gaze out over the right fingertips. And then coming back through center on an inhale, releasing the right leg, and placing the foot back on the mat. Bringing the left knee into the chest and taking those circles with that left foot one way and then the other. Before taking that left ankle just past that right knee, allowing that left knee to drop open, and then bringing that right knee into the chest, and then the hands coming behind the back of that right thigh as you breathe here. Allowing the shoulders to relax away from the ears. Tuning back into the Ujjayi breath. And then unclasping the hands, hands come out to a T, and dropping that left foot, right knee towards the right side. Gaze comes out over that left arm. Head comes back to center, knees come back to center, uncrossing that left leg. And then bringing the knees into the chest, giving them a big hug. And taking any final movements you feel you need here today. Maybe it's a move of the legs, maybe it's taking the hands to opposite knees and circling the legs around. Maybe it's a happy baby, whatever feels good. Before releasing the legs down to the mat, extending them out long, allowing the feet to drop open. Arms come down beside you, palms faced up for Shavasana. And just letting go of the breath, letting go of the thoughts, and simply allowing yourself space to just be here. Beginning to lengthen the inhales and the exhales. Taking some movements through the fingers and the toes. Allow that movement to get bigger through the wrists and the ankles. Then stretching the arms overhead, taking a full body stretch before bending the knees and rolling to the right side. Pausing here for a moment just to allow yourself space for gratitude for your body and all that it's been doing for you over these last few days. And then when you're ready, coming up to sit. Seeing if you can keep your eyes closed as you do so. Keeping that connection with the body and the breath. Then taking the hands down beside you, and all together on your inhale, reaching the arms up overhead, bringing the palms to touch. And then bringing the hands down in front of the heart space. Opening the eyes. Thank you for joining me today on day 4 of your beginner's yoga journey. I hope you enjoyed this gentle flow. And I cannot wait to see you again tomorrow. Namaste. If you did enjoy this class, you know what to do. Hit the thumbs up button. If you want to see more videos like this, then hit the subscribe button. And hit the notification bell to see when videos drop. I will see you in class tomorrow. Bye.